Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another episode of But Is It Chart Watch. I know those of you, my regular subscribers and viewers, I have said that I'm pulling back on the Chart Watch new release news, music biz chat, weekly video, I say because I'm probably going to make it monthly. But then, as is the way of the world, stuff comes up and I think that'd be a really good thing to talk about, or I'd like to tell you more about it. So I'm going to be renaming this series. It may not be episodic, it might actually just be by date, as and when I see things that I think it's worth talking about. I know that these videos are kind of niche, but it has a very dedicated audience who see it like getting their weekly update from those people that remember the days of Melody Maker, Enemy and Sounds. Anyway, this is a short, succinct one, but there's a couple of things that have happened that I wanted to talk about, and it's for CD fans and it's for vinyl fans. But first of all, as I have done in this series, is talk about what's got to number one in the UK album charts. And this week it is Metallica, as you all know already. But I thought it was very interesting that 72 Seasons, which has gone straight into number one in the UK album charts. And the stats are amazing, because I was only saying, wasn't I, a week ago when I jumped on and said, I've got to talk about this because something's got to number one with literally just over 10,000 sales. Well, this is nearly 30,000 sales, and it's a heavy metal album, and it's a damn fine heavy metal album. It really, really is. But the facts are as follows: 29,249 sales overall, and I bet you that's way more now at the time of me doing this video. Physical sales of that were 23,000. Now, of that, 15,873, shall we call that 16,000, were CDs. Just under 16,000 CDs and 6,292 vinyl albums. So CD has completely led the way in Metallica getting to number one in the charts. And the only reason I'm emphasising that, because there's tons of vinyl behind me, is that Music Week again have made a huge splash about saying that already this year vinyl is, blowing CDs out of the water. And I have been pointing out that for the number one albums, that is not the case, and especially for Metallica. And I'm going to come on to CDs, especially to do with Record Store Day in a moment. But that really is fantastic. There was also 864 cassettes, 3,159 downloads, and 3,000 sales equivalent streams. So that did really, really well. The other rock album that's gone in the charts is at number, where was it? Joe Bonamassa has gone in at, let me find it, number 50 with a live album, which is a live version of his last studio album, Tales of Time, and it's got 2,124 sales. That is, in fact, the name of his live album. I haven't heard anything from that. I did buy the studio album, Time Clocks, and I did like that a great deal. I thought it was really good. I think there was a bit of criticism about that, but there always is around Joe Bonamassa for some reason. But I really like him. But anyway, the Metallica album, a few words on that. I think the new Metallica album is the best album they've made since the Black Album. I really do. And actually, I'm going to really be totally honest with you. I prefer it to that. Now, maybe over time that will shift, because this is one of those albums that got to me immediately. I haven't bought a Metallica album for a long time. I've heard them all. I stream them. I've got most of their back catalogue, but more recently I've kind of not got... Nothing has really inspired me. And some of the, the early albums are all classics, Master of Puppets, etc. I love the covers album as well. And I love the orchestral albums, S&M 1 and 2. I just love those. But this one, as soon as I heard that first track, 72 Seasons, and the riffage, the way that the riffs blend in, and the double bass drum, and then it goes back into more steady 4/4 beat, I just think it's so powerful. James's vocals sound really good there. It's a fantastic rock album. Shadows Follow, Screaming Suicide, You Must Burn. There isn't a duff track, and how long is this? It's is it 1 hour and 17 minutes long? I've gone for the CD on this case, $12.99. The vinyl was over 40 quid, and I couldn't justify it. but every single track to me is killer. And it's the best Metallica album I've heard for so long. And I also feel that, again, because of my ears and my experience of loving rock music, I've heard so much of it that it's like having when you're a rock fan of a certain vintage, you've got neural networks in your head that can second guess where something is going to go. Sometimes you don't care because you actually want them to go there because it's a chord sequence or a certain aesthetic in the guitar playing or the vocals that you think, yeah, let's do it. If they have a key change at this point, I'm going with you. I think it's fantastic. A lot of the time here that my neural networks were knocked sideways because they went to places I didn't think they would. And then when they did go to things, I thought, I wonder if they'll do that. And they did. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So if you're a Metallica fan and you felt like in recent years, should I bother or not, listen to this. And the fact is it's selling like hotcakes, and it deserves to. The new Metallica album is highly recommended. I think it comes with the Now Spinning magazine badge of quality. It really does. Can't vouch for the vinyl one, I've got it. But the CD does me absolutely fine. Really, really good. Right. As I've just pointed out, CDs drove that album to number one. So I just want to talk a bit now about CDs. So bear with me, and I'll bring this up on the screen as well for you. And we've just had Record Store Day, have we not? And it's nearly all vinyl, and it always has been. But as we've just seen, as much as places like Music Week are doing their best to just push vinyl, and I'm going to say in a minute why. If you're going to push vinyl, you need to get a few things sorted out anyway, but I don't want to go off on a tangent here. Megan Page is the Record Store Day coordinator. And she says that the day, the experience, they want to support the CD in future celebrations. She acknowledges the issue, saying that we need to find ways to draw customers in and make them comfortable and participate in Record Store Day. And and she mentions the band the 1975 decision to offer CDs and cassettes at a different price point for younger music fans was really, a great thing to do. Now, Page emphasises the significance of the CD audience and warns against dismissing the format. She suggests that reinventing CDs with a modest price increase, that depends what you do with the packaging. To make them more appealing to a younger demographic, Record Store Day intends to incorporate more CD-related offerings in future celebrations and Record Store Day events, providing labels with an opportunity to recognise the value and potential of the CD format. Absolutely fantastic. I'm absolutely over the moon about that. This is on the Now Spinning magazine website. It's been shared on our Facebook page and in the Facebook group, and lots of people have commented saying they're really, really excited that CDs are also now going to be more involved in this day, which I absolutely love. I know some people see it as a way that people go around just buying things to sell on eBay later the same day, but to see lots of young music fans queuing up to buy records, going to music shops, is a joyous thing to behold. It really, really is. However, now, I'm just bringing this up. This isn't my photo, and I've got this album on order, so God, I hope mine doesn't look like this. This is someone's has bought the new Ian Hunter album, which I'm going to review. I'm going to review the vinyl album and the CD because I love Ian Hunter so much, and I've been streaming this. It hasn't arrived yet, but it's his best album forever. It's just, it's just such a great album. Anyway, I don't want to get carried away because I want to review it properly and show you the vinyl and the CD. But what I'm showing you here is how one copy arrived to one of the fans, and I've seen lots of other people actually say mine looked like that as well. I had to clean it, I had to wipe it down, etc. This is the Now Spinning magazine campaign for polylined inner sleeves or anti-static archival sleeves to be issued as standard for all new vinyl releases. Here's another one coming up now. This is just ridiculous, and You know, as much as Music Week or everyone wants to talk about vinyl going up in price, it's all fantastic. I can tell you that there's a subscriber of this channel, website, and the Facebook group. Young kid, Toby, has got his own YouTube channel. You know, he really knows his music, loves his music. He's just made a decision to move to CD from vinyl. And most of that is because of the quality control issues he's having, that he buys vinyl album, it skips, it's dirty, and he just feels it's not value for money. It's such a lot of money, and he realises he'd rather buy it on CD because he buys a CD, puts it in, it sounds great. And there's going to be more and more people, and in fact, there'll be some stuff I'll put in the description here from people who've just said in the last 24 hours that what they're feeling now and what they're seeing on their vinyl albums they're buying is that they're deciding now not to bother, and they're going to move back to CD. Now, CD is seeing an increase in sales. Now, I'm hoping that's just because there's an increase in the love of physical music. But I think there's going to be a percentage of people who are doing that because, yes, they love to buy physical music, but their experience of vinyl is not like the marketing people need to look at what's going on here. The amount of returns. I had someone who lives in Australia and he's just bought some stuff online. The pain in the arse of having to send those things back. And a lot of times now, the shop will just say, well, just keep it. It's just not worth it. You know, they just don't want it back. And that's not a good business model if the amount of returns you're getting is going up and up and up. So, comment, share. The link for the page that's dedicated towards this campaign is below this video. You know, but this is really important. I love vinyl albums. I love CD albums. And those of us who are that niche, that 12 to 15% who buy these, who look through the new release pages and get so excited about it, it's such a letdown when you get something and it's just not up to it. And those cheap sleeves. Now remember, I personally have been buying records for decades. I didn't have this issue in the 70s, 80s and 90s. It wasn't there. And it's, you know, if it's a pressing plant, someone needs to look at the quality control. You know, look at this picture now. An album that comes out by Taylor Swift's got a hole in it in the wrong place. I mean, how did that get through quality control? And before anyone cynically says, oh, that's because of all the silent vinyl listeners, that 50% stat of people buying vinyl will never play it because they just sit on the sofa looking at it and then stream it. Don't tell me that anyone really thinks that that's a good way forward, is to think, well, half the people won't even notice. Everyone is noticing. And it's such a letdown when you get your album, and you shouldn't have to have anxiety or stress that you've bought a vinyl album or you've got it coming through the post and thinking, how's it going to be packed? Okay, that might be a separate issue. But when it arrives, will it skip? Will it be covered in dust? Will it be scratched already before I even put it on? And the amount of people now are beginning to feel that because of previous experiences where you get a CD, you put it on, sounds great. Or, as someone said, well, just stream it, it always sounds the same. And you don't want that. All those people who are in the pressing plants and everything else, that isn't the way you want this to be going. So please think about everything you're doing to putting that final album together. And some people say, well, you just clean it. What's the problem? A lot of you, why should you have to? Didn't have to before, and you shouldn't have to now. Not for 30 to 40 quid. You know, because you are literally making people think. Usually, when you pay more for something, it is a general held thing that it's a deluxe offering and it's better than the cheaper one. That is the way the world is wired to do with selling things at a premium. And vinyl is at a premium. And I know the price of everything is going up in the world, and so that's fair enough. And if that's the case, then you've got to make sure that the quality of the item matches the price you're trying to charge for it. Okay, so before I go, I just got some more rock news that I wanted to bring up. And this is great for me as a Judas Priest fan, that Reach Music have now got the masters and publishing rights to the first Judas Priest albums, Rockahola and, of course, Sad Wings of Destiny. And there's going to be some special editions of those. I don't know what's in the archive. I sometimes wonder if there had been anything, Gore Records would have done their best to get it out. But maybe there is something, maybe there's live stuff. But just having those 2 albums looked after, as well as the rest of the catalogue, I think is a super duper thing. New release news. There's only 2 things I really wanted to mention this week, and that was there's a Kiki D. I've got the Music in Me Super Deluxe 2 CD version with some different versions of single tracks. That looks okay, but I've already got it, so whether I'm going to buy it for the second disc, don't know. And there's also Alice Cooper Skulls out, a 2 CD version with a live concert from their period on the second disc, and with the success of Little Feat's Super Deluxe live album being out, in which I reviewed recently, it's quite reasonable to expect that Sailing Shoes and Dixie Chicken are coming out in 2 CD versions, and the second CDs are also live concerts, so that's pretty good as well. And of course there is also Live Evil by Black Sabbath, which at the moment is being listed at an absolutely ridiculous price of nearly £100 for basically 4 CDs or 4 albums. And I know that those concerts were recorded over several days, so could they not have done like a Thin Lizzy complete concerts from the recordings type box and made it more like the prices of the other sets? Don't know. I'll know more soon, and I shall let you know. So thank you for watching. Keep the campaign for Polyline Sleeves being a standard for all new vinyl going, and I shall see you on my next video. Oh, please subscribe, become a patron, become a YouTube member. You'll get to see all my stuff, and there's tons of videos coming up before anyone else. Take care. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor, and I shall see you very, very soon.